The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14. Lord Almighty said, "Now I shall explain to you the prime wisdom of knowledge that has enabled the sages to attain prime siddhi, salvation. The people who acquire this wisdom and assimilate the same realize me and are not subjected to the cycle of rebirth, and they do not get nervous even on the doomsday. Arjun, nature is my creation and is known as Brahman, form. Nature is the mother of all living beings, and I am the father responsible for the birth. My union with nature brings about the birth of all living beings. Arjun, all living beings appear to be born from innumerable mothers from their womb, but in fact, they are my creation. Nature is the mother, and I alone, the father of all living beings. Arjun, Satgun, which is mode of goodness, Rajogun, which is mode of passion, and Tamogun, which is mode of ignorance. These three types of attributes of nature keep the eternal Atman bound in this mortal body. Nishpap Arjun, among these three gunas, Satgun, being pure, enlightens and is without any defect. Satgun breeds joy and wisdom and is associated accordingly. However, Rajogun is born of desire and attachment. Rajogun binds the Atman with actions and the results thereof. But Arjun, Tamogun, which is mode of ignorance, which degrades the human being, is born out of ignorance. Tamogun binds the soul with lethargy and tendency to carry out pointless jobs. Arjun, Satgun, which is mode of goodness, brings peace and joy. Rajogun, which is mode of passion, is responsible for karma or action. And Tamogun eliminates wisdom and engages the mind in futile tasks. Satgun spreads by overpowering or curbing Rajogun and Tamogun. Rajogun spreads by curbing Satgun and Tamogun, and likewise Tamogun becomes stronger by suppressing Rajogun and Satgun. When Satgun grows by suppressing the other two, that is Rajogun and Tamogun, it brings greater understanding, consciousness, and reasoning. It is bringing life and its understanding. It is indicative of growth of knowledge and wisdom. And Arjun, the growth of Rajogun is indicated by greed, selfish thoughts, and taking actions with personal ends in view. Rajogun also promotes the growth of desires and hankering after worldly pleasures. But when Tamogun spreads, one finds growth of darkness in the senses and the mind, and the lack of desire to do one's duty, and procrastination, useless efforts, lethargy, and excessive sleep. Such debasing factors, they abound when a person is in tamagun mode. If a person dies when satgun is on the rise, he achieves superior abodes where purity and goodness prevails. Here he enjoys heavenly pleasures. But if a person breathes his last when Rajogun, that is, mode of passion, is prevailing, he takes birth among the people who are more attached to the action, like in this human world. But when he dies, when Tamogun, mode of ignorance, is on the rise, the person is condemned to the lowly and ignorant life of worms, animals, etc. The result of the sattvic, sattva gun, goodness, action is joy, wisdom, and non-attachment. The result of rajas, rajogun, which is action or power of passion, action is sorrow, and then of tamagun, action is degradation and ignorance. Satgun breeds wisdom, Rajagun breeds undoubtedly greed, and Tamagun breeds futile action or lack of action and degradation. The person who remains in the fold of Satgun attain better worlds like heaven. Those remaining in Rajogun remain in the human world, and those practicing lethargic, excessive sleep, and futile action, representing Tamogun, are condemned to the lowly life of worms, animals, and the like. They reach hell. The moment a person does not recognize himself as the doer of action, but believes that any action is born out of interaction of gunas, the attributes, further, once he realizes that the Almighty Lord is beyond the bonds of these gunas, he achieves my status. Such a person transcends the effect of these gunas and becomes free from the perils of birth, death, and old age. He attains salvation. Arjuna asked, what should a man do to transcend the rise above the effects of these three gunas? And what should be the qualities of his actions? The Lord Almighty said, Arjun, the person who neither grudges nor desires, nor the natural deserts of these attributes, and is remaining as a witness without getting involved or without getting affected, is able to maintain his calm countenance and is never disturbed. Such a person understands that the actions are results of the interaction of these three gunas. He is thus in a position to maintain the stability of mind, and he understands the presence of the Almighty in all places, at all times. He has no reason to feel sad or get bewildered over anything. The person who is constantly satisfied and realizes the presence of Almighty Soul above all, he treats joy and sorrow alike. For him, dust, stone, or even gold do not make any difference. He remains steadfast whether he is appreciated or he is criticized, whether he is loved or hated. Such a person behaves uniformly with his friend and his enemy. He who has no ego of himself, being the doer of any action, is considered gunatit, transcending the effects of actions. And the person who remembers me with the understanding that I, the Lord Almighty alone, is the be-all and end-all of everything, he considers me as worthy of absolute devotion, because I am the abode of that eternal peace. I am the pure nectar. He carries out his daily duty to the best of his ability, to the best of his knowledge. He achieves ultimate happiness that results from the stability of mind and from following his duty with utmost devotion.